Well, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to episode 4. We had an alarming day yesterday with the Reaver flyovers. We did put up some defenses, but apparently the rest of the colony is not feeling so secure. They feel with the flyover by the Reavers and the ongoing conflict between other colonies that we should probably establish an off-world base off-planet so that we're outside of the gravity well. So I've been asked to see if my miner, my plunge miner, can leave the atmosphere and go explore for a fallback position and possibly establish a base off-world. I think there's no reason why our miner cannot leave the atmosphere. It's only a question of being able to hold enough hydrogen to get to orbit, which I believe it can, based on our flight times for mining. So what I think we're going to do today is we're going to space. So what I think we can do is we'll make sure that the ship is fully fueled with hydrogen. We'll lift off out of the base and maybe we'll land, grab some ice, make sure we are fully 100% recharged, that we have some ice on board, not a lot. And that will enable the O2 generator to add extra hydrogen for our ascent to orbit. I think that can work. If we run out of hydrogen on the way up, there is no turning back. We have no parachute on this thing. We are going to plummet to the earth and die. But I think we're going to be fine. So, let's do this thing. Unlocking connector. Connector unlocked. No, don't worry, guys. I will be coming back eventually. Oh, we got quite a tilt going there. Why are we tilting? It might just be... gently. I mean, we've got lots of upward thrust on this thing. I can't imagine, although one thing we need to do is we need to disable the downward thruster. So we need to put that on a switch. I think that would be wise. Let's back up here a little. Alright, so let's clear our base proper. Like I say, we're going to refuel here in a second. Alright, we'll let our coaster stop, and then we're going to stop and refuel. I mean, I am absolutely not saying this couldn't possibly go wrong, because boy, oh howdy could it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just... You don't you worry about that. All right, we're sitting on our own. We're now resting. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to, and I won't make you watch this part. I'm going to fix that upward thruster, put that on a switch, so we can turn it off and get it more of a coast going to orbit. And I'm going to have a look at how much ice we have on board. It's kind of a hard thing to determine. We don't have a lot right now, but we'll judge again. I'm very conscious of how much the ship weighs. So currently that is being converted into fuel. We're at 87% hydrogen tank now, so we're going to let that fill up. I'm going to fix that upward thruster, or that downward thruster, the thruster on top, and when we're full of fuel and ready to launch, we'll come back and hopefully we can make it to orbit. If somebody's got their calculator and their pencil out, it's pretty easy to figure out. We've got 6 upward hydrogen thrusters. We've got 2 small hydrogen tanks, which will be full. We have the O2 generator that will be processing ice very slowly as we ascend. So that's going to add to our hydrogen availability slightly. And depending on what our weight is, I don't want our weight to be over 300,000. I'd like it to be under 300,000. We're at 2 right now. I don't want it to be over 3 for sure. So I'm not going to do it. But if you guys want to get out your calculator and pencils and pause the video, you can quickly figure out whether I can get to orbit or not. All right, back in a sec. And this is why the colony got nervous. We can see a reaver. He's 3.26 kilometers away right now. 3.27. He's moving away slowly. Hopefully, he continues to do so. We're going to sit here quietly. I can't run. I can't get back into the base in time. All I can potentially do is abandon this ship if he comes in, and hopefully move into the side of the base where I'm protected, and hopefully the guns take him down. Yeah, being in this gravity well is a huge disadvantage. So he's slowly moving away. We're refueling. We're at 92%. I think he's going to continue to move away. Oh, is he going to drop below the mountain? Is he even on the far side of the mountain, or is he on our side of the mountain? No, he's... Let's head back to the base and maybe take control of one of the guns in our tower and see what this guy looks like. An interloper. Was that an interloper? I don't know what that is. We don't have to go into the base. We can just... these are connected to the base, aren't they? These have never been tested, eh? Ked and Gert installed. Did that thing crash? No. That is a substantial ship. What is he doing? I think he's struggling with the atmosphere. He can't fly. He's moving away. He seems to be in the air. I don't know why he was losing altitude like that. There it goes again. He looks like he hit the surface. He is struggling. A Reaver Interloper. It looks like a substantial ship. We're going to lose sight of him now in a second. He's going to go behind that mountain. I think he may have underestimated the gravity here. I don't think he's necessarily going down right now. He's just disappearing behind the mountain. I don't think he's going to be a problem for us, per se. But that's exactly what I've been talking about. Let's get back to our ship and see if we're ready to launch. Yeah, wow. It's a good thing that I came over here and decided to put on some ice before I launched to orbit. Or we could have been dead men. He's still moving away, so he's not crashed on the ground. I think he has enough thrust to stay above the surface, just barely. What are we at? We're at 96%. Our weight has dropped below 200, so we might just take another bite of ice before we leave. But yeah, I think our guns could have taken him down. He would have probably crashed right near our base and probably still had active guns, so it would have been messy, to say the least. But yeah, they're getting more brazen all the time. And civilians can't live like this. They can't live with something like a Reaver ship like that coming in all the time. I mean, the devastation he could do to us, and we have a massive underground base with armaments. He would do a substantial amount of damage to us. All right. Well, if situation changes, I'm going to wait till we fill up on fuel, and if situation changes, I'll certainly let you know. But yeah, we should be ready to launch here in a second. All right, I think he's far enough away. We're fully fueled. I grabbed a little bit more ice. We're at 236,000 kilograms. I think we should have a very healthy acceleration rate. I've put the downward thruster, boom, it's off on a switch, excuse me. And yeah, I think we're ready to launch for orbit. Oh, there's so much can go wrong here. All right. So we're going to launch straight up from this position, and I mean, I think we're fairly level. We're sitting on the ground. Maybe we're tilted back slightly, but I don't think that's going to really affect our orbital insertion. Yeah. I mean, another strategy we can have, if it becomes obvious to us we're not going to make orbit at a certain point, I mean, like when we get to like 20% fuel, we could turn off the engines, drop back to almost to the surface, fire the engines up, and try to land. It's an ice planet. Anywhere we land, we're going to have ice. That's going to be pretty desperate. I mean, once we look at 50% fuel, I think what we should do is look at 50% fuel when we reach that point, if we reach that point, and say, do we abort at that juncture? All right, everybody ready? 3, 2, 1. Launching. Oh, I was hoping for it to be a little sprier than that. It's not bad. All right, let's try a little coast. A little goose. Little coast. And we're going to keep goosing our way up to orbit. I mean, we've only burnt 2% of our fuel thus far. We're still at 1 G of gravity. The Reaver's almost gone out of range completely. 3% of fuel burn. %. Still at 1 G. I mean, this ship was never designed to be used for orbital insertion. That's not what it was designed to do. %, burn. Still at 1 G. I have no idea. We seem to be approaching a layer here, but we're still at 1 G. I mean, is that just the cloud layer? I've never encountered this before in Space Engineers. Do I have a gravity generator on the ship? Why would I have a gravity generator on the ship? Oh, maybe I do have a gravity generator. I don't know. It says planetary gravity. It's still 1 G. I've got 7% of my fuel burnt. Very weird. There seem to be, we're going to penetrate that layer. Still at 1 G. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're starting to drop G's. We're approaching 10% fuel burn. I think we're going to be just fine. Feeling very confident. I have no Reavers on the scope or any other battens. Station, you say? We're almost just approaching half a G. We're 11% fuel burn. We're just fine. .4 G's coming up. We're still just at 11% fuel burn. So yeah, this thing at this weight for sure is an orbital craft. I mean, it's basically a bunch of drills with a bunch of hydrogen strapped on it. My only fear was the hydrogen capacity in the tanks, and I never calculated the hydrogen burn rate. We've left the icy ball that's been our home thus far. Asteroid. We are almost out of the gravity well. Alright, let's bring ourselves to a stop. So we'll turn back on that thruster. And we'll take a second and we'll figure out where we're going to go from here. We've got to pick an asteroid and go search it. So yeah, so give me a second. I'm going to go clear all those nasty old GPS locations off of the system and give a little thought to which direction we head in next. All right, back in a sec. Okay, well, I cleaned up our GPSs and I moved the cockpit around a little bit. I added another cockpit so that this thing would be a little easier to control. Yeah, I spotted this asteroid and decided to move closer. It has magnesium and ice, useful things. I need cobalt, but then I spotted this hole. Yeah. I'm thinking that could be useful. Let's just move the ship inside and see how big. So in reference, there's the planet there. So we didn't move very far at all. Like we moved like 8 kilometers. It was the first asteroid I approached. I passed by one on the way here that had some platinum. I hope I marked it. Let's try not to crash this thing. This is a big hole. This could make a great hangar. We just have to size it up here and see how do we protect ourselves. I mean, we could put gun emplacements at either end, and then any ship wanting to get at us has to get by those. But let's just decelerate here. But yeah, let's. I know it's hard to get an idea of how big these things are. Maybe what I'll do is I'll might actually have to. There is some material inside this thing, and I did take enough materials to build a basic refinery and an assembler. I might remove a couple of hydrogen thrusters and put those in because I don't need this kind of thrust right now. I just got to remember to change it back before we go planet side. Let me make a few changes to this, and what I'm thinking about doing is just throwing on some spotlights in here. But I don't think we would ever need more space than this. Like I said, we have to close off both ends, and maybe we do that with. I don't see this as a very usable end. Maybe we close off this end with a solid heavy block wall, and then later we can add a gun emplacement to it. So I don't see that end as being very useful. And then build some sort of a hangar here, and then some sort of a storage facility, and we got ourselves the base that the colonists were looking for. And I've got another idea. I think what we need to do is we need to stop hiding from the Reavers and the other colonies, and we need to build a warship. I'm tired of cowering away like a little mouse. I think it's time, and this here would make a fantastic hangar to build a ship. I'm liking this idea. I think we can see here that it's big enough. So let me get a few things laid out. We're obviously going to want to we're going to want to lay a set of blocks from one end of this to the other in skeletal form so that we can get the door we're putting here to line up with the wall we're putting there, so that all can be connected. But yeah, I think we got a winner here. And like I said, this thing is huge. Like, I'm near the wall here now. You know what that is. So if we look straight across, I mean, it's that far to the ship, and then past that to the wall. I mean, this place is huge. I mean, this is, there's no reason why we can't put a big warship in here. Maybe what I'll do is, I have a few blueprints of larger ships. I might, could throw a blueprint on this ship and kind of cast it into the cavity to see how well it fits. But, yeah, I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do is lay a string of blocks and get a block out here and a block started out here connected, just so that they're all in alignment. And then maybe throw some lights up along that. I think that would be a good idea, so that we can maybe see a little bit of what we're doing in here. But I think we found our base. Second asteroid. I passed close to one, and then I arrived at this one. And then somewhere out here, we're going to have to put a major gate. Maybe recess. This is long. This is much longer than we need. Maybe recess a gate back to maybe here, so that is a little bit protected. Okay, I will be back when I have, I'm just going to do some of that space engineer stuff and see about alignments and how big a gate we could build, that sort of thing, and kind of just determine whether this is feasible or not. All right, back in a few. Welcome back, everybody. I've thrown up a few blocks, welded what I could out of what I had on board the ship, but we're pretty much out at this point. We're going to have to do some mining and get Ked working on this in order to weld this out. I will have to respawn Ked, but yeah. So we've made a gate here, which I kind of back of the envelope calculate will be big enough to get our warship through. Okay, that's a good thing. Let's back up a little and give you a better look at it without running into the rock. So you can see that we've used the natural hole in the rock. We're just closing up the end here. And we're going to use the force field hangar doors in order to protect us a little bit while the construction's underway. We will probably, after this wall is built, we'll probably punch in some holes and mount some guns, maybe on all sides, in order to ward off the bad uns. This is my the miner here. I got it docked up. This is quasi the control center for this base. I threw down blocks just as I need them to make things happen, and I threw down a projector for our warship. I picked one that I kind of created, and that'll become clear later. So we've got the first few blocks here waiting to be welded up. So yeah, it's not only going to be our warship, it's going to be our mobile base as well. So I'm not going to invest much in putting base infrastructure here. We're going to flesh out the ship, and it's going to become our base. Dangerous, I know, but hey, no risk, no gain. So there were some holes here in the backside as well. So what I've decided to do, seeing how our warship is going to be kind of blocking off that entryway, what I did is I went ahead and I constructed another entryway here, or in the process of doing that, so that our miner can pass in and out through this back hole. And that's how our miner will get in and out. It could go out to the front, but if we have an alternate means of getting in and out. We're also going to have to mount some guns back there. My next project is I'm going to have to do some mining. I am going to have to very carefully try. There is a large refinery on this ship. I think on the other side from where we're to. So what we're going to have to do is we'll connect the blocks up to the refinery, and then we'll make sure the refinery is connected up to our systems, and then that refinery will start processing our stone. Until then, we're going to have to settle for maybe a basic refinery mounted on here processing the stone from our miner. That is the plan. Luckily, I brought a fair amount of cobalt with me when I came, but eventually we're going to have to fly out and mine some cobalt. We're going to have to fly out and mine everything. So it's going to be a process of finding local asteroids that have the resources we need. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can't get KED working, see if I can't gather some basic resources, and I may just grind rock right out of this asteroid. There's also some other resources here. There's ice and there's magnesium. So we'll fly out around and hit those if we can from the outside. But yeah, so what I think I'll do is, if I can get KED working and get the resources, we'll get these gateways done, and maybe see if we can't, what we can do to get the refinery working on this ship. You can see the red markers around. They're pirate ships that seem to be liking us right now, that we're in space. But we're not too worried about those guys. And I certainly will bring you back if any Reavers or anybody else shows up that's whom is a real threat. All right, back in a few. I'm going to work on these gates, and we'll bring you back when we have more to say. Right, we're just making another run. Gonna get some ice this time, because we're at ice, and The system is trying to fill up both the hydrogen tanks. Not that we don't need stone too. So. Are we still in ice? Looks like we're still in the ice. Doesn't matter, we got some stone too. Yeah, so whenever I take the miner out, Ked jumps in the other cockpit. Comes with. Alright, let's just check the how full our drills are. I think this will take 600, almost 700,000 before she's totally full. Yeah, we're not even close to full. Yeah, she'll take a lot more. I know it's really hard to see because the just do this. There we go. Now we can see we're almost at 700,000, but the drills aren't near full. And I've added some cans, took off some hydros. So this thing is not planet capable anymore. It was barely planet capable before, to be honest. I can hear CAD chirping away there. Almost full. I can't imagine that we're not into the rock now. Let's have a look, and then we're probably done now. Yeah, we're gonna head in. All right. Yeah, before we go in, we're in the sunshine right now, let's have a look. So, the other cockpit for when this was a plunge miner, that's where Ked jumps into. She likes to come along when we go on a run. Anyway, that's fine. She's been doing a good job of welding up the ship. I've been laying down some speed roll, just so you guys can see the ship coming together. And I'll give you a hint, if you've been watching the ship start to come together and wondering what ship it is, that ship is from a mod, Wrecked Ship mod. And so I found that wrecked on a planet, and it was just a shell of a ship, part of the shell of a ship. So most of the interior is of my own design. Not that it won't get a total rework for this thing, but yeah, I basically found it as a partial crashed hull and rebuilt it. But I'm sure that anybody who's played Space Engineers for 6 months will recognize the ship once it starts to come together. Now you can tell by this miner that I built that I am no great builder. I do not claim to be a great builder. But I may go ahead and I have never posted a ship on the Mod Hub. That's something I've never done. And I've always wanted to. Not because my ships are great, or because I'm a talent of any kind, but because I just wanted to. So I might, when this ship is complete, and by complete I mean maybe not even during this playthrough. It's been a project I've been working on now for a year. I've used it a few times in playthroughs and for my own amusement. And every time I use it, I make improvements and changes. And when I get it to a form that I'm happy with, I might just go ahead and post that. Never done that before. And I think that's part of the fun. And ultimately, that's why we're all here, is to have a bit of fun. What? Something is goofed up here. Everything looks really bizarre to me right now. Yes, I know, kid. We're almost there. Stop asking. We are not there yet. No. Yeah, my depth perception here is way off, and I'm not sure why. It might have to do with the ship being tilted funny, or which it is, I would assume. Something like that. Still seems really weird to me. Alright. We're docking a ship here, not building the Great Pyramid, so let's get this thing done. I'm still way off, aren't I? Look at that. Alright. So, that's did we ever really get into a lot of stone? Because we kind of need the stone to make stuff too. I was fine with it. That is all ice. Wow. Alright, well. If I jump out now, Ked should jump out. Here she goes. Alright, there's another trip made. We'll get this, give it a second for some of this ice to get digested and give Ked a chance to, I may have to, before the big ship comes out of here, I may have to just take the miner and knock off a few of these rock outcroppings just to clean things up a little bit. We'll see. How we doing? There's so little of the ship built yet. I wouldn't be surprised if no one can identify the ship. There's just not enough there. Is that gun already built, or is that just a wireframe? Actually built it? Okay. Alright. Has Ked even gone back to welding? We might be out of the material that she needs. Alright, well, it's coming along faster than I thought it would. I'm pretty impressed. I didn't think I would get near this far. I was just hoping to get the refinery built so I could use it to start refining goods. I'd like these 2 hydrogen tanks. I will fill them here, but I think I'm probably going to move them from this location. What is it, Ked? Ked down there? So this ship, it never was originally, but I've converted it to be atmospheric capable. So it can land on planets. And actually, the last time I used it, every time I use it or make any changes, I always do a blueprint. The last time I used it, I actually used it to land on a planet. So I had to, at the last minute, I realized that there was no landing gear on it. Stuck 3 landing gear on the bottom of it, which should appear here shortly. But it is intended to be a base ship, so it contains storage and refineries and all that stuff you would need. And lots of big guns, which I'm sure are going to come in really handy. Alright, well I thought I'd bring you on board and show you that. We are making fantastic progress. For some people that didn't know if they could even get off the planet this morning, we are in outer space. We have what are we going to call this place? When I put up the marker out there, I just the GPS location. I just put base down, but we got to come up with something much better than that. I mean, this place is. I mean, it's basic. I didn't put a floor in it and all that nonsense. I mean, it's pretty basic. But we'll come up with a better name than base. That's just silly. And this ship is going to make us a power in the universe. So we're gonna take on all comers. All right. Well, I gotta let that check on that ice, see if that's processed. Now I'm probably gonna have to make another run for some metals. I'll just have to dig in and figure out what we're short on. Ked stopped working, so she's obviously waiting for some component or something. So I'll figure that out and we'll check back. All right. So me and Ked just found a gold supply. So we're gonna gather up a load of gold. Are we still into solid gold? I know, Ken. That's no good. Alrighty. I just don't want to get part of the drills into the gold and not the other ones, because some drills will fill up and I don't think they'll share between them. That sure is some fancy flying. Don't know if it done us any good or not. I'm pretty sure this would be enough gold to get us to end game. Ked's being awful quiet. Alright, we're almost full now, and we're going to haul this back to the construction site. Again, we're getting the wrong things. When I get back, I might unload this and then just quickly grab a load of stone. There is iron here, so before I go, I should really mark this site. And we're starting to fill up. You know what? I've got a lot of gold on board. I think that is enough gold for now. But let's mark this. Let's go to. I know. I'm just so used to doing it this way. So it's going to be. I know. I'm being fancy. I was going to say, where's the iron? It's saying I'm 80 meters away and I can't see it. Oh, we're going to hit, folks. Whoa. That explains it. I was totally seeing that the other way. Like I had to get on top of it. We're not going to be able to get very much of this anyway. I think that might be a full load. All right, we'll see you back at base. All right, the ship's coming together. Got that other load of material back in. So we're making some more steel plate and stuff now. We were short on that. So Ked's doing a little more welding, doing an awesome job, but there's a lot of ship to build yet. So um, we're gonna call it here for today, and I am probably between episodes gonna make a few more trips just for iron ore or stone, just to bump up that iron production. We're also gonna need some cobalt. Eventually, we're gonna need, we need almost everything. Probably gonna make another ice run soon too to power everything, get the hydrogen tanks filled. But that was a whole lot for today. We made some fantastic progress. I'm pretty happy with the progress we made thus far. The ship doesn't look like much right now, but it's coming along nicely. It's going to start taking shape. Don't worry. All right. Well, if you like what you saw here today, why don't you throw us a like? If you want to see some more, why don't you throw us a subscribe and maybe click the bell, and then you'll get a notice that a video has come out that you might be interested in. Thanks a lot for coming, guys.